Hey there, welcome to Beyond the Pages. We're so excited to have you join us on this journey as we dive deep into the stories that shape our world, explore the ideas that ignite our imaginations, and uncover the hidden gems that lie between the lines. If you love to learn, to question, and to connect with fascinating narratives, you've found your home. We believe every book, every article, every piece of information holds a universe of possibilities waiting to be discovered. So, if you're ready to expand your horizons and engage with content that truly matters, we invite you to hit that subscribe button, give us a like if you're enjoying what you see, and share this experience with friends who might also find inspiration here. We can't wait to explore together. They say, time forgets everything, but sometimes time remembers in the quietest ways. In the ruins of an old farmhouse, deep in the countryside of France, an envelope was found, yellowed with age, edges curled, sealed with wax that had long since cracked. Inside was a letter that had been waiting not for hours, not for days, but for 80 years. No one knew who had written it. No one knew who it was meant for. But as the dust lifted and the ink came alive once again, the world was about to remember a love that war had stolen, but never erased. Let's jump in flashback to 1940. The year was 1940. Europe burned under the weight of war. Cities were crumbling, homes turned to ashes, and love letters became rarer than bullets. Somewhere near the northern front, a young soldier, barely 23, sat under a flickering oil lamp. His uniform was torn, his fingers cold, his hands trembling not from fear, but from the words he was about to write. My dearest Anna, if you are reading this, then I am either far from home or far from this world. Tonight, the air smells of smoke and rain. The others are laughing by the fire, pretending we're not surrounded by death. But all I can think of is you. He pauses. The ink spreads slightly as a tear falls on the page. They tell us we fight for victory, but I fight for something smaller, something purer, the thought of your face when I come home. If I don't, promise me you'll live enough for both of us. He folds the letter gently, kisses the corner, and tucks it into an envelope. On the front he writes only 2 words for Anna. Days turned into weeks. The soldiers' unit moved deeper into the conflict, through forests, snow, and smoke. Then one night, during an ambush, everything ended. Gunfire, screams, the roar of artillery, and then silence. When dawn came, the field was quiet, except for a single envelope, stained with mud and ash, lying beneath a broken helmet. No one ever came back for it. The farmhouse that once stood nearby was abandoned, and as decades passed, the world rebuilt itself. But the letter remained, buried under wood and dust, waiting for someone to listen. 80 years later, a historian named Claire was helping restore that same farmhouse. She was cataloguing old items, cracked photographs, rusted spoon, plated military tags. When she lifted an old wooden floorboard, she saw it, a small envelope wrapped in cloth, sealed but fragile. Carefully, She opened it, and inside was the soldier's letter. The ink was faint, but the words were alive, as if the man had written them yesterday. She read it once, and then again, and by the time she reached the final line, her eyes were wet. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I know love is stronger than war. And if love survives, then maybe, somehow, so will we. Claire looked out through the broken window, where the sun now poured in, golden and soft, lighting up the same place where the soldier once sat. The name Anna was common, but Claire couldn't let it go. Who was she? Did she ever receive another letter? Did she wait? She searched archives, letters, and local war records. After weeks of searching, she found a match. Anna Meyer, born 1918, lived just 10 kilometers from the farmhouse. There was a note beside her name. Never married. Died 1998. Claire froze. The woman who waited never found the letter. She died without ever knowing his words survived. That night, Claire placed the letter on her desk, beside a flickering candle. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, and she imagined Anna, sitting by her window in 1945, watching the road that never brought him home. Scene 5. The letter's journey voice softens. Emotional news of the discovery spread quickly. Local newspapers published the story. Letter from World War II soldier found after 80 years. People across the world read it. Some cried. Some smiled. Some sent messages saying, "I wish love like that still existed." And maybe that was the point. The letter had finally been read, not by the woman it was written for, but by millions who needed to remember what love really means. Flashback blend asterisk. The soldier's voice echoes softly over Claire's discovery. If love survives, then maybe, somehow, so will we. We see him in black and white, smiling faintly, folding the letter, tucking it inside his jacket. Then we see Claire holding the same letter, eyes filled with the weight of 80 silent years. Time collapses. Two souls, separated by war and death, connected by ink and paper. Months later, the farmhouse was restored. In one corner, they placed a small glass case. Inside it, the letter, the soldier's photo, and a plaque that read, "For Anna, found 80 years later." Visitors stood quietly, some holding hands, some closing their eyes in prayer. A small boy asked his mother, "Why didn't he come back?" She smiled sadly, "Because sometimes heroes don't make it home, but their words do." Narrator. We live in a world obsessed with instant messages and forgotten promises, but somewhere, under dust and time, a man's final words still waited to be read. It wasn't a letter about war. It was a letter about love. Fire written in the middle of chaos, meant for one heart, bet destined for all. 80 years later, the world had changed, but the message hadn't, because love, when written with truth, doesn't age, it waits. Maybe we'll never know his name. Maybe the letter was never meant to reach her. Or maybe it reached exactly who it was supposed to. Because when you hear words like his, you remember that even in the darkest times, someone, somewhere, was still capable of love. That's what the letter reminds us, that even when history forgets, the heart remembers. The letter found after 80 years. A story of love, loss, and the silence between two souls. Beyond the pages,